From Learfield. This is the Jake Diebler Show, presented by Roosters, a fun casual joint, and brought to you statewide by Encova Insurance, the American Dairy Association Mideast, and by Credit Union of Ohio on the Ohio State Sports Network, presented by the Ohio State Wexner Medical Center, the team physicians for Ohio State Athletics. Now, along with Coach Jake Diebler and former Ohio State captain Ron Stokes, here's the voice of the Buckeyes, Paul Keels.
Thanks, as always, for joining us with Coach Diebler as Ohio State turns it around again to get ready to continue Big Ten play, playing tomorrow night in Madison against the Wisconsin Badgers. And, Jake, that's kind of what this time of year brings. You get one game done, you have to immediately turn your focus right to another one.
Yeah, it's one right after another. We needed to, digest the last one and learn from it, certainly, but we had to move on quickly.
Coach, whenever you have those types of games, all of them are tough, win, lose, whatever. How late into the night do you go to, there's a balance, right? But at the same time, there's a requirement to kind of, understand what happened and try to fix it and game plan for practice. But typically, how late do you stay in this building looking at this stuff?
Yeah, late enough, Ron. I don't know that I need to get into all those habits, because I'll probably, get some calls from people that I know and love and care, and they'll be telling me I'm not taking care of myself like I need to. But yeah, listen, it's quick turnaround time. We've had some really quick turnarounds, and I think it's just as a coach, after close games, win or lose, you play back immediately in your mind. You go back and decisions that were made. You go back and watch. You dissect kind of that initial, with raw emotion. Then the next morning you do it again, just to see. Okay, had some time to kind of think a little bit more. Okay, now let's take another look. So try to get a couple looks at it, before moving on, and then and really a couple looks at it before we go over it as a team, just so we're really dialed in and locked in on focusing on the right things.
It's kind of like watching a movie a couple times, right? Sometimes you see something that you kind of just miss, like maybe you thought this really happened, but when you watch it two or three times, it's like, wow, this is the real reason why this didn't work the way it was supposed to work.
Yeah, I think it's, I like kind of evaluating with the raw emotion in it once, and then I like evaluating, with a chance to kind of remove some of that, and you see where you land. And I think, and today with these young guys that we're working with, you have to be very specific with, the details you're going over, because you can't cover everything, and especially this time of year. So there were some glaring things there at the end. I think specifically defensively, for us to give up the amount of points we did there in the last 10, 11 possessions it's not acceptable. And then I think, going back, and not just the end of the game, but going back, we've now had a couple situations where we've had opportunities to put teams away that we haven't done a good enough job. And that has been that's been, a little more offensive issue. I thought in the game was a little more defense. There was a moment where we probably should have pushed that lead up, in the second part of the second half that we didn't do, because, some of it's make or miss shots in those moments, certainly, but turnovers, that's been an issue for us in league play, turning it over, too much. So those are the things we talked about. We kind of broke it down into segments with our players, right? The time of the game, maybe kind of 8 to 4 minutes, 10 to 5 minutes, where it felt like we should have pushed it up, and we got to get better at burying teams in that moment, and we didn't do that well enough. And then the end of the game execution, both offensively and defensively, that's how we really broke it down with our team.
Knowing that you work so much on end-of-game situations or short clock situations, does each and every game, much like this one, give you new ammunition to have to drill and go over, and that's where the time constraints can be kind of a challenge?
Yeah, I think, each game presents something different, and, I've followed Big Ten basketball for my entire life. So, going into the season, and we talked about it as a staff, and that's why one of our core kind of basketball values is be your best late, because that's Big Ten basketball. You got to be really good late, and we have worked on that all year long. Different situations, even as detailed as moving some of our shooting drills to the end of practice when we're tired to step up and make shots when you're fatigued. So now it's right, like you may put scenarios in and situations come up in practice, you're able to teach through them and stuff, but in the game it's, you add the game pressure, I think, I think matters. You add, right, the imperfections of the game. So all of that stuff comes into play, but we're going to continue to work on those things every single day. I think we're really close at executing at the level we need to where we don't have to play perfect, but we can execute at the level we need to win those close games. We're getting really close.
Was that something that happened in the Minnesota game where you were able to get some of those late game things to go your way?
Yeah, that game, there felt like there was like every late game situation imaginable came up in that game. And I thought we did some really good things. We put ourselves in position to win it in regulation and, had some great looks, and there's free throw situation, like all the things that go into that, right? Okay. Then you move forward. Then we had to fight back, and it was a great reminder there at the end of the game. We have a call for if we're going to foul, if we're not going to foul, and we have that call. So that certainly post game allowed us to revisit that and talk through that. So, and then we had an opportunity to talk about, okay, second overtime, we get a lead early. How do we push it up? Then we don't want to give up threes in that situation. We give up a couple threes. The game ends up being tighter than it needed to be in the second overtime. So there were so many things that came up that we've worked on, certainly, but, tape after a game with the game pressure and all that stuff, part of it is a great tool to learn and grow, and that's what we're really focused on.
Coach, with all the things that you have to deal with in coaching these players and factoring in how officials are calling the game, but typically what you've seen in your years of coaching, is there any additional coaching that you have to give your players just to anticipate, like down the stretch the game may be officiated a little differently with contact? And I say that in terms of, like, when you look at what happened with Quez Glover, right? He's playing defense, he's playing tight, they call the foul. But how do you help your players through those types of situations, especially end of game?
Yeah, I think you're in the game, you're given little reminders of things we talk about and work on, right? And just that comment from you in question speaks to your experience, and I think that's something a couple of our guys are lacking. In those moments is the experience, and sometimes the game does get called a little differently down the stretch. And, I think, listen, what we talk about all the time is, hey, like, we got to take away what teams are trying to do, take their first option, their second. Then they have to earn it. We can't give them points. And we've, unfortunately, this season in a couple of these close games, we've given teams points, whether it's at the free throw line or, the Oregon game, we shift our defensive coverage to take away threes, and yet we don't close out aggressively enough and give that catch and shoot three up. So, like, those are the things I think that we're working on the right stuff, and just unfortunately, we can't speed up that growth process. We're speeding it up as fast as we possibly can, and I do think, Ron, we're really, really close to executing appropriately to where we'll finish these games like we're capable of.
If you have a question for Coach Diebler, you can submit it to our Union Home Mortgage inbox at ohiostatebuckeyes.com and click on Coach's Show inbox, Union Home Mortgage. Learn more about their 1% down payment program at uhm.com, NMLS number 2229. More of today's show presented by Roosters coming up on the Ohio State Sports Network from Learfield.
Ready?
It doesn't matter if you're playing hard or working hard. Your workout only works out if you recover right. Chocolate milk helps you recover for what comes next. It's delicious and contains the right mix of protein and carbs to help refuel exhausted muscles. From biking to bench presses, Milk's protein helps you build lean muscle and gain more from your workouts.
Ready? Recover. Repeat. Brought to you by the American Dairy Association Mideast, a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Cheers to a great day and this ice-cold Corona.
You know what would make this day even better? My grandma's carne asada.
Or your grandma here with us, making carne asada.
She does love a cold Corona.
Throw in some dancing.
Oh, we can watch the game.
I'll drink to that.
So a backyard concert with football, food, dancing, and Corona?
And your grandma.
Or we could keep it simple.
Simple is good. Want a Corona?
Thanks. Salud to the perfect day.
Corona, la vida más fina. Get your Corona at ordercorona.com. Relax responsibly. Corona Extra Beer, imported by Crown Import, Chicago, Illinois.
Hi, I'm Archie Griffin, two-time Heisman Trophy winner. The right coverage can be a game changer, both on and off the field. That's why Encova Insurance is prepared for what's next and protects what matters most to you. With independent insurance agents in your neighborhood and innovative insurance products that can be tailored to fit your unique needs, Encova Insurance is an easy win for your peace of mind. For auto, home, and business insurance, you want Encova on your team. Visit Encova.com today to find an agent near you.
AgPro has been family-owned and operated for over 64 years. We take pride in developing long-lasting relationships and offering first-class customer service. Need a new tractor, parts for your used equipment, or reliable service? AgPro has you covered. AgPro is here to serve you and your operation as your hometown dealer. Visit us today at any of our AgPro locations or go online to agproco.com to get started with your AgPro experience.
Hey basketball fans, Credit Union of Ohio wants to help you score more by making life more affordable. It's time to play with a team that helps you win every day. Credit Union of Ohio's loan rates have dropped to provide affordable financing for the things you want and need. It's time to reevaluate your current loans and consider refinancing with a team that cares about you. Check out current specials and get started scoring more money at cuofohio.org. That's cuofohio.org. NCUA insured, equal housing lender.
Hi, it's Alex Johnson from The Diamond Seller. Growing up in the family business, I've seen firsthand the joy and love that comes with finding the perfect engagement ring. For over 77 years, our family's been dedicated to providing the best quality, unmatched selection, and the guaranteed best price. From timeless classics to custom designs, we have the perfect ring for every love story. Let our family help you celebrate the moments that mean the most. Visit Diamond Seller today on Salmo Road or at Easton Town Center.
The Fan, Ohio's sports destination. You're listening to the Jake Diebler Show, presented by Roosters on the Ohio State Sports Network. Presented by the Ohio State Wexner Medical Center, the team physicians for Ohio State Athletics.
Welcome back to our show with Ohio State coach Jake Diebler as the Buckeyes get ready to play at Wisconsin tomorrow night. Time for our Elk and Oak injury report. And similar to last week, Jake, especially with quick turnarounds, important that guys do what they need to do on their own to take care of themselves, to be as healthy as they can be.
Yeah, to be a great player, you know, there's a responsibility you have when you're outside of this building to take care of yourself and get enough rest and, you know, utilize the nutrition advantages we have here. But we do, you know, a lot of our time we make sure we monitor and get guys, you know, with our training staff and sports performance team to make sure they're recovering appropriately.
Okay, our injury report brought to you by Elk and Oak. Serious fans of Ohio State athletics, call 1-800-ELK-OHIO. Go Bucks. We were reflecting on the Oregon game, and not to just talk about the things that didn't go well. Obviously, there were some things that went very well with the leads you were able to open up in that game, Jake. Yeah,
we got off to a good start, and I think we, you know, they're a really good team. Certainly, I think they were a top 10 team the week before they came into Columbus, and you know they responded, and then we responded and regained the lead there in the second half, and that's where, you know, for me that was probably some of the most frustrating moments. Was we push that lead back up and we don't extend it, you know, to 10 or 11 or 12 points. And I think that was ultimately the biggest difference. And that's where we have to really grow as a group when we have a team kind of on the ropes there, you know, because teams aren't just going to go away, not in this league. Everybody's got to fight to them. And we got to maintain our aggressiveness. We got to maintain our fight. We got to maintain our, you know, our just execution, so we can string together stop score, and now that thing gets pushed up near double digits or just past double digits, and it changes the entire complexity of the end of the game.
Yeah, we talked about how this Big Ten, how from top to bottom there's no easy games, but when you look at Coach Altman for Oregon, he's had 27 straight winning seasons, and I know you respect the profession quite a bit. Winning is hard, we know that, but just think about what type of program he's built in his career.
Yeah, and he's done it at a couple stops. Mm-hmm. So, you know, I think he's a really good coach. I think top to bottom in this league, that's the case. And, you know, that's why the margins are so small. Right. Is talent parity. There's just environments are great across the league. There's all these things that make Big Ten basketball special. So that's why it's so critical in those moments when you have a chance to push a lead up. You got to take advantage of it, because at that point you get down to the end of the game, it becomes kind of a make or miss game, where it didn't necessarily have to be that way if we handle our business earlier in the second half.
If you would talk a little bit about Sean Stewart and the way he played and what he's been doing as of late for you, Jake.
Yeah, I think Sean, we're really starting to see Sean, get comfortable. I think we're seeing the benefit of all the experience he's gotten so far this year. We're starting to see some consistency with his play, and he plays really, really hard. He plays with a toughness. I like his defensive versatility and what that can provide for us. So he's continuing to grow offensively and continuing to grow, as we're able to shift maybe some coverages throughout the course of the game and being able to execute that stuff. But he's benefited greatly from, the experience he's gotten, but I also, make no mistake, like, he works really, really hard, and he approaches each day like a pro would. Takes care of his body. He's here early. He stays late. All those things that you really love to see in a young player.
And when you think about rebounding, it's some of it's technique, but a lot of it's effort. And he's had a number of games where he's had 7 or more. And then, speak to your point about him playing hard. That's great to see. He has great athleticism, and you combine that with work ethic and his willingness to be coached. That's you got to be excited about his future.
Yeah, really excited. Really excited. I think this year, speaking specifically for Sean, this year is going to be a great year of growth, and we've already seen some of that. And it gives us a great deal of excitement for him specifically, and what the future could hold. So his consistency with his approach and work ethic has been really impressive.
Speaking of rebounding, Devin Royal, who struggled offensively, but he comes up with 9 rebounds. Is that a sign of a guy that has learned that you can't tie everything you do to your offense?
Yeah, he's growing too. I mean, another guy who very limited experience last year, and has really played with some consistency this year. There's been a few games lately where he hasn't played quite at the level that he's capable of, but he's finding ways, to your point, Paul, he's finding ways to impact the game when maybe he's not scoring as much as we know he can, or he's having an off shooting night, but to get the rebounds, and that's such a point of emphasis for us, and he's embraced that. So he needs to continue to do that for us, and I've been really proud of just his growth this year.
Yeah, when you look at his stat line, and to Paul's point, he was 1 of 7 from the field, but he had 9 rebounds. So one thing that I would love to see in addition to that, as he continues to grow, is that when you're struggling from the field, that's okay, but get a bunch of free throws.
That's right.
Right? So make an emphasis to get, learn how to get guys to foul you, get to that line, and that's another way to put points on the board.
Yeah, and he's done that at times, Ron, and I think now, and he and I talked about this yesterday, you've earned, the scouting you're getting. Mm-hmm. So on some of these drives, teams are running a second guy at him, and which is fine. He's just got to read that situation better. I thought he had a couple turnovers in crowds, or forced up a couple shots where there was an assist waiting for him. If he could have read that situation a little bit better. And he will. He will. We're working on it, and he'll continue to get better at that. But, some of this is, too, like, hey, you've been a really good player. Teams are scouting you accordingly. And now you got to take your game to the next level and handle that scouting in a way that you can make them pay.
You talked about free throws. It seems like in the last 3 games or so, your team's gotten into a good rhythm at the foul line. Is that a fair read?
Yeah, I think we've been much improved from the free throw line, and again, I think I said this before. It was just a matter of time with how much we work on it, and what I know our guys are capable of. I just felt like it was gonna turn for us. I know there was a stretch here we weren't shooting as well, and certainly would like to get a few of those free throws back in a couple of those games. But that's college basketball for you. Now I'm hoping that same growth we've had at the free throw line can transition to the three-point line for us, so we can get back to shooting with the consistency that we're capable of.
You just shared a few moments ago about Devin Royal earning the right to be at the top of the scouting report. But there's another guy that's equally as important on that scouting report is the impact players off the bench. And when you have a couple guys that are coming in and helping your team win, they kind of get up on that scouting report as well. And I look at Quez Glover, 0 for 6. You're going to have those nights where no matter what you do, the ball just doesn't go in. But as you looked at the film, were you happy with the shot attempts where there were some things that maybe they did to make it have a tough night for him? But what was your overall evaluation of how he played?
I thought Quez forced up a few shots that he probably should have passed on. And we talked about that in the film session. Going back on the Oregon game, we watched, Ron, we watched our not all our turnovers, but the ones that I felt like, maybe we had a little more control over whether or not it needed to happen. Mm-hmm. We watched those turnovers, and then we watched our shot selection. And I think one of the areas, like, for us is we talk about adjustments throughout the course of the game, and certainly Biddle, even though he didn't have 7 or 8 blocks, he altered a lot of shots. And so one of the things we kept talking about was, hey, specifically with our guards and really our forwards, it was everybody. Like, you get into his chest, that ball's got to be kicked out. And throughout the course of the second half, and Quez, specifically had a few of them where I can remember the scoop layup he shot where we had, Sean wide open on the other side. If he executes that, we get a 2-point dunk. Those are the moments, right? Like that we got to grow in. And we got to be able to execute those situations better. Certainly wasn't exclusive to him. We had other guys. Devin had a couple where, again, there was an assist waiting if we could have read that. So, but, Quez and I talked like the mid-range game is a strength of his when he's shooting the right ones. There were too many that didn't fall in that category last game.
You talked about Biddle affecting shots. Is that the hope of what guys like Aaron Bradshaw can bring with, at least mentally, and also to a little bit of an extent Evan Mahaffey too, with their shot blocking potential? Yeah. I mean, listen. I think the 3 guys for us, Evan, Sean, Aaron, who have the ability to be, good rim protectors, have had good moments. We need some more consistency from that. I think you saw a guy who's been playing college basketball for a while and figure out kind of how to be in the right spot. We're getting better at it. We need to continue to grow quickly. The Roosters Foundation helps raise over $1 million each year for local charities and organizations and is the official wing sponsor for your Ohio State Buckeyes. The Roosters Foundation is donating $25 for every foul shot the Buckeyes make at home this season to BAM, Beyond Ability Matters. BAM provides kids and young adults with neurological disabilities the opportunity to live their best lives. We'll have more with Coach Diebler when we continue with our weekly show presented by Roosters on the Ohio State Sports Network from Learfield.
Coors Light presents To Chill or Not to Chill. When your friend skips your favorite song on the playlist. End the friendship. Or choose chill because that song lives rent-free in your head anyway. And you're planned ahead by bringing Coors Light to the party. And the sound of that ice-cold can cracking open was music to your ears already. Coors Light. Choose chill. Celebrate responsibly. 2024 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado.
There's one medical team in Central Ohio skilled enough to care for your favorite Ohio State team, and Buckeyes everywhere. The Ohio State University Wexner Medical Center is your choice for the most highly specialized orthopedic and sports medicine care. Our surgeons, physicians, and physical therapists have access to the most advanced treatments and innovative recovery approaches to get you back in your game. Because on or off the field, our team is your team. The choice for your orthopedic care is clear.
Hi, this is Paul Keels. This Buckeye season, don't let a broken windshield ruin your game plan. Safelite Auto Glass makes it easy to get your windshield fixed with their mobile glass shops all over Central Ohio. They can come to you anywhere, giving Buckeye fans more time for game time. OH? Man, I love that. Schedule at Safelite.com. Safelite Auto Glass is a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Safelite Repair, Safelite Replace.
Get ready, Buckeye fans. Donato's just added something special to the pizza playbook. Introducing Donato's new Block O pizza. Donato's golden thin crust cut in that trademark Block O shape, loaded with crispy pepperoni, smoked provolone cheese, and Buckeye Spirit. It's the perfect pizza for game day or any day in Buckeye country. Now get a Block O pizza for just $10 with any pizza purchase. Order today with the Donato's app or at donatos.com.
Every game, every season, Buckeye Nation comes together to support Ohio State basketball. The Buckeyes make their fans proud by giving it their all on the court. Their hard work, determination, and resilience embody what our state is all about. Every client, every day, Elk & Elk works tirelessly to support the great people of Ohio. A consistent winner in the courtroom, we get injury victims the compensation they deserve. Call 1-800-ELK-OHIO. Elk & Elk, proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Buckeye fans celebrate all kinds of game day traditions. The most delicious ones begin at Giant Eagle and Market District, where you can always enjoy the perks of game day. Get ready for kickoff with fresh and prepared foods from Giant Eagle and Market District, or fuel up and grab snacks and drinks on your way to watch the game. You'll earn perks and save no matter where you stop. Giant Eagle, proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Your home of the Buckeyes. The Fan. Now back to the Jake Diebler Show, presented by Roosters on the Ohio State Sports Network. Presented by the Ohio State Wexner Medical Center, the team physicians for Ohio State Athletics.
Union Home Mortgage is the official home lending sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. Learn about their 1% down payment program at UHM.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS number 2229. And welcome back to our show, Coach Diebler. It's Ohio State at Wisconsin tomorrow night. That is a 9 p.m. tip-off from the Kohl Center. We'll go to our Union Home Mortgage inbox list of questions. Dan and Mason, we kind of covered your question in the first segment, so thank you for submitting it. Brian in Fostoria, more representation from Northwest.
Fostoria.
Yeah, I know you like that part of the state being heard
some
from.
time there, 3 years of high school at Fostoria.
There you go. How long does it take players and coaches to recover after late road games like last week at Minnesota and like what you'll be facing tomorrow night in Wisconsin?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think, certainly part of the, we'll call it stress we put on our bodies in the off season and our strength and conditioning and, how we train and practice on the court, part of that, all that comes into play to build a great base and foundation, right? I think you got to be really intentional with your time. So, like, for example, when we got back from Minnesota, that next day, it was critical, in my opinion, in collaborating with our sports science department and training staff and strength and conditioning coach. It was critical that was more of a mentally, kind of mentally focused day versus a physically focused day. And we felt like kind of giving us that one more day and then getting back to a normal practice the day before the game was the best way to position us to have, our legs underneath us. But I think we train really hard here to help prepare us. That the disruption of the sleep pattern certainly plays a factor, and nutrition and hydration and all of those things. So is it impactful? Certainly, but I think there's with good strategy and planning, you can mitigate just how impactful it can be. And that's what I feel like we did a good job with, and now we have to obviously do that again with the late tip and travel back.
You're talking about all this stuff, Jake. Skip's going to probably put some monitors on Paul and I.
Yeah, Rob, why don't you tell us how you were feeling after that?
Well, these two guys here, they just got back from wherever they were and for the football game, and now we're about to go to Madison and come back 2:30 in the morning on Wednesday.
That's right.
Yeah.
So,
well, hey, it comes with the territory.
Yeah, it does. Comes with the job, right,
yeah,
Paul?
Yeah, and Jake, a lot of that to what you were talking about, at least I think I picked up right on that. It's you don't just week of work on preparing for that. It's during the summer, getting ready to roll into the fall and then into the season, right?
Well, you're working on building a firm foundation and kind of I think expanding your tank, right? And now we're not, and maybe this is something we need to look at in the future, but we're not depriving our guys of sleep in the summer to train them for a road trip like this. So I don't want to get at but I guess maybe we need to be open to something like that. But I think, listen, it's the education for our athletes and understanding how important nutrition is, how important sleep is, how important recovery is, soft tissue work, all of those things. We're constantly educating them on that. And then we have, like I said, at Ohio State, I've said this before, we have unbelievable resources. And so we lean on those resources to help us, in those moments to recover. And I think young guys are resilient too. I think a lot of times they're tougher than we give them credit for. And we showed a great deal of toughness really in that Oregon game to be in position, like I mentioned before, to have a chance to really run it up. We didn't execute that plan enough, but I think, listen, it wasn't. I didn't feel out there that we were lacking because of our road trip. I thought we handled the sleep disruption and timing and all that stuff really well.
Well, they will know in due time. I know that there's things that I could do when I was 22 that I can't do at 60. Well, I'll be 62 here pretty soon, but at 60, it's just so they're young. They can handle it.
I would have guessed you were about 52, Ron.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
But I know when you played, so.
You can't. Some facts aren't hidden. We'll go to Jim from Dayton in our Union Home Mortgage inbox list of questions. Is there a correlation between the grind of the Big Ten season and recruiting, and does having such an odd home schedule influence on when you can bring respective recruits in for a visit?
Anytime I'm given an opportunity to talk about our home Big Ten schedule, I really try to pause for a second, because I do, we have 2 home Saturday or Sunday games. And listen, we have a busy arena here. There's no question about it. But I was disappointed and expressed, to the league my disappointment that we didn't have more home weekend Big Ten games. And, it's a significant challenge, new teams, West Coast, to put all the pieces together. And we acknowledge that, and our conference office does an unbelievable job. But I think for our fans, most importantly, we deserve to have more Saturday or Sunday home games. There's a TV element certainly to all this too that doesn't get talked about. But as far as recruiting goes, I think it's certainly oftentimes more convenient for recruits to get into the building on weekends than it is on weeknights. Whether they have practice and they can't get to the game on time, if they're traveling from, a few hours away, or, you have a 9 o'clock tip or an 8 o'clock tip on a school night, getting back. So it matters. It matters. But, this is the hand we were dealt this year. And so we're gonna make the most of it as best we can. But there were conversations, multiple conversations had immediately when the schedule came out. And, we'll pick those conversations back up as soon as the season's over to make sure, moving forward that, our home Big Ten schedule is more appropriate.
Yeah, when you look at the months of January and February, whether you're on a road or not, there are no Saturday games at all for both months. And then at home, at least in the month of February, you have 3 Sunday games. And I guess it helps at least that those Sunday games are early. 2 of them are early in the afternoon.
But I think only one of them are home, right?
Yeah. So Sunday against Michigan, the school up north is at home. Then at Illinois and at UCLA and at Nebraska, all road games.
Yeah. It was, again, it's I don't envy the challenge of putting together the Big Ten schedule, with all the things considered this year. I think the league will get better at it as it goes on. This was year 1 of the new teams and the travel and all those things. So,
So Buckeye Nation, just put an X on Saturday. There's no games for the rest of the season. Just put an X on Saturday.
A little frustrating. Just know that those who are frustrated about that, the appropriate people have heard my frustration as well.
Yeah, that it's shared. But in regard to scheduling, too, when you're now at the point after you've gotten through the holidays, it's 2 games a week. Does that kind of help with somewhat routine, even though traveling is thrown into that?
Yeah, Paul, I don't really necessarily break it down as the week by week. In fact, I think my wife had to remind me kind of what day, like the actual day of the week was this morning, like the kids were going to school. But I look at it kind of, in almost in chunks of like, okay, how many games and how many days do we have? Because, you want to, I believe, listen, we're a new team, new program, a lot of new players, a lot of young players. So we got to maximize every opportunity we have to be in the gym. Practice is critical right now. We had a great practice yesterday. We need to keep having practices like that. But, I'm also a believer and come from the school of thought that you want to be your best. You want your guys feeling their best physically, mentally, emotionally on game day so they can perform as best as they possibly can. So I think, there's certainly a part of we need to win today, but there's also hey, we need to see what the next kind of 6 to 8 to 10 days look like to make sure we're prepping our guys to be their best, if it's 3 games, 4 games, whatever that is.
All right, we'll talk more when we continue with our weekly show presented by Roosters on the Ohio State Sports Network from Learfield.
When it comes to your cancer diagnosis, the choice for your care is clear.
And when you choose the James at Ohio State,
you're opting for care from a highly specialized team dedicated to treating one type of cancer, yours.
Where more than 1,700 scientists are working on new treatments and new hope for every form of cancer.
You're making the choice to have the most advanced treatments, many of which were developed right here.
For your cancer care, the choice is clear. The James at Ohio State.
Hi, this is Paul Keels. This Buckeye season, don't let a broken windshield ruin your game plan. Safelite Auto Glass makes it easy to get your windshield fixed with their mobile glass shops all over Central Ohio. They can come to you anywhere, giving Buckeye fans more time for game time. OH? Man, I love that. Schedule at safelite.com. Safelite Auto Glass is a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Safelite Repair, Safelite Replace.
Union Home Mortgage knows Buckeye fans never leave Ohio State behind. We've helped millions of first-time home buyers get into their dream home through our 1% down payment program. Put as little as 1% down, and UHM tosses in up to 2% on the house. Learn more at UHM.com or call 877-846-4968. Union Home Mortgage Corp is an equal housing opportunity lender. NMLS number 2229. UHM will contribute up to 2% down, no greater than $2,000 towards a 3% down payment. Home buyers responsible for the remainder of the down payment. This offer is available for the purchase of a primary residence only. For full terms and conditions, visit UHM.com. For more than 35 years, Hyde Park Prime Steakhouse has been known by Buckeye Nation as serving the best steaks in the city. Our thick-cut, aged steaks have been a staple in Columbus with 3 locations, in Upper Arlington, Dublin, and downtown. Hyde Park is proud to introduce our newly added wine room at the downtown Columbus location, where a new elegance in dining will surround you. And coupled with live entertainment every weekend, Hyde Park will be the perfect setting for any occasion or the perfect night out. Hyde Park is a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. Go Bucks!
When you share your food, you share your heart. So what's on your table this holiday season? Save on your festive feast at Kroger with delicious deals on all the holiday classics. Or wow the crowd with something new, like a quinoa stuffed butternut squash. It's sure to add a pop of color to your spread. How about a sweet potato casserole with a crunchy oat streusel topping, made with care for the sweet tooth and the savory tooth? With Kroger, fill your table with love and watch as your guests' hearts get as full as their bellies. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Everybody knows that Roosters is a fun, casual joint with their award-winning waitstaff, great food, fun, and laughter. It's a quick stop on the way home to sit back and unwind. It's a front row seat to the big game. Roosters is where you, your family, and friends can order pizzas, sandwiches, salads, and more. And the home of award-winning wings that are fresh, never frozen, and so big you won't believe it. It's your family's other dinner table. Roosters, a fun, casual joint, and the official wing sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination. Your home for Buckeye basketball. This is the Jake Diebler Show, presented by Roosters on the Ohio State Sports Network. Presented by the Ohio State Wexner Medical Center, the team physicians for Ohio State Athletics.
The Foundation is operating a 50-50 raffle at each Ohio State home men's basketball game this season, with proceeds supporting community-based NIL opportunities and the Foundation charities. For more information on how you can participate, visit the Foundation social media channels. And welcome back to our show with Ohio State coach Jake Diebler. Buckeyes will be leaving later tonight to go to Wisconsin to take on the Wisconsin Badgers. What can you tell us about Wisconsin and what they've done today, Jake?
Yeah, a lot of depth offensively. A lot of depth offensively, play really, really well, offensively and defensively. I think their defensive numbers in league play are really good as well. But this is a team that can, beat you from the outside and three-point line, and also a team that can, hurt you on the interior as well. And so it'll be a real challenge. But we've had a great day of practice yesterday. We need to follow that up with another one today, and we'll go in there ready. This is this is an old veteran team that you can't you can't beat yourself in games like this. You got to execute well. You got to have high attention to detail. You need to take care of the basketball. And so I'm excited. I'm excited about the opportunity for us.
Coach, when you look at Coach Gard, this is his 10th year as a head coach. He took over after Bo Ryan left. Not sure how much of Bo Ryan's career that you follow, but any similarities? Because Bo Ryan was pretty good at Wisconsin for a number of years, but any similarities that kind of stick out when you look at teams, the way he coaches his team as compared to Bo Ryan?
Well, I think it's still a really, really tough place to play.
Yeah, no doubt.
You know, it's always been a really tough place to play. They get great support up there, and you know, I think the model, you know, they've kind of just always found a way to stay old. Mm-hmm. You know, which I think has been really impactful and has played a part in the consistency. You know, they've had guys redshirt and grow and develop, and kind of when it's their time as a junior or senior, they step in, and it almost seems like they're cloning guys, you know, to some degree. Like you got a really good player there for 2 years, and then this other guy who didn't play much at all of a sudden is doing the same thing, you know, the guy before him did. So their player development program, I think, you know, probably doesn't get talked about enough. They've done a great job, and a lot of respect for them. This team this year, I think, is playing faster, you know, than maybe some of Bo Ryan's. I don't know the metrics behind, you know, Bo Ryan's teams, but I think they're playing faster.
They won.
I know they won. But this group seems to be playing faster. And again, they got, you know, really 6 guys, you know, at least 5 who are averaging, you know, double figure, but really 6 guys who are capable of doing it any night.
Is that pace is what it added to their scoring average being up from what it has been in past years? Yeah, I think the pace has. I think also, you know, they're still very system driven, but the system has changed. You know, they're not running the swing, you know, system that Wisconsin was famous for really for so long. They're running more of a ball screen motion system now. So, you know, Coach Gard's put his own stamp on that, but I think there are some surface level similarities certainly, and some foundational similarities. But you know, the X's and O's are a little bit different, and you know, they've had a lot of success with it so far this year.
You know, as I was rewatching the game against Minnesota and Oregon State, and also against Oregon, it's like there was times where the ball movement was exceptional. Especially when you had the 3-guard lineup there with Quez and Mobley and Bruce Thornton. Are you playing fast enough? I know you can take advantage of going against some good defensive teams by getting points in transition. But just talk about how pleased you are with some of that ball movement I just talked about, and also, you know, maybe getting more opportunities in transition.
Well, how deep into the weeds of this would you like to go, Ron?
It's your show, Coach.
I do think I like our pace. I'd love for us to be able to, you know, steal a couple more possessions per game. But these last few games, we have our efficiency early in the shot clock has not been good. It has not been good enough. So that's something we're working on figuring out, and we got to make better decisions. Shot selection comes into play, and we have the IQs, we have the field to be able to do it. You know, we haven't done it as well as we need to these last few games, and it's affected our offensive efficiency. It certainly has. So I think our pace right now, we probably need to find a couple more opportunities to get something easy. We've turned teams over, which has helped, but you know, we also now we need to get organized. I think a little bit more. Maybe play. Maybe play a couple more sets in situations, or if we don't have anything off that initial push, you know, kind of recalibrate within a possession, because our numbers in the first kind of 8 to 10 seconds of the shot clock the last 3 games have not been good enough.
We'll talk more with Coach Diebler when we continue with our weekly show presented by Roosters on the Ohio State Sports Network from Learfield.
Hey, Buckeye Nation, Paul Keels here for my other favorite nation, Window Nation. If you're a fan of scoring, you're going to love this. Window Nation is going nuts with an incredible offer just for you. Buy 2 windows, get 2 windows free plus 0 down and 0 payments with 0 interest for 2 years. And if you order a full house of windows, you'll be part of a full house at the Shoe with tickets to a Buckeye game. Call Window Nation today at 866-90-NATION or visit them online at windownation.com. Tell them Paul sent you for the Buckeyes Full House Special.
Hey, Ohio State fan, are you ready for game day? Get hyped and get your crew going with the Buckeye Meal at BK. For $20, you'll get 1 juicy flame grill Whopper sandwich, 1 original chicken sandwich, 2 mouthwatering cheeseburgers, 3 crispy golden small fries, and 3 refreshing small drinks. Grab your $20 Buckeye Meal today and share the taste of victory. At BK, have it your way. You rule. Limited time only at participating Ohio area restaurants. Tax extra. BK is a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Union Home Mortgage knows Buckeye fans never leave Ohio State behind. We've helped millions of first-time home buyers get into their dream home through our 1% down payment program. Put as little as 1% down, and UHM tosses in up to 2% on the house. Learn more at UHM.com or call 877-846-4968. Union Home Mortgage Corp is an equal housing opportunity lender. NMLS number 2229. UHM will contribute up to 2% down, no greater than $2,000 towards a 3% down payment. Home buyers responsible for the remainder of the down payment. This offer is available for the purchase of a primary residence only. For full terms and conditions, visit UHM.com.
At Ohio State, we are the never afraid to innovate teams, the agile, get it done teams, the achieve more together teams, and the improve people's lives teams. Together, we are the Ohio State University.
Learn more about Ohio State at osu.edu/impact.
Hey basketball fans, Credit Union of Ohio wants to help you score more by making life more affordable. It's time to play with a team that helps you win every day. Credit Union of Ohio's loan rates have dropped to provide affordable financing for the things you want and need. It's time to reevaluate your current loans and consider refinancing with a team that cares about you. Check out current specials and get started scoring more money at cuofohio.org. That's cuofohio.org. NCUA insured, equal housing lender.
Don't miss a minute of the Ohio State football postseason presented by CareSource, Kroger, and State Farm. Celebrate the culmination of the 2024 season with all of Buckeye Nation and follow along on the official athletic site from the opening postseason kickoff to the final whistle in Atlanta. We have you covered. It's the 2024 Ohio State football postseason presented by CareSource, Kroger, and State Farm. Visit ohiostatebuckeyes.com/postseason central now for more information. Go Bucks!
Everybody knows that Roosters is a fun, casual joint with their award-winning waitstaff, great food, fun, and laughter. It's a quick stop on the way home to sit back and unwind. It's a front row seat to the big game. Roosters is where you, your family, and friends can order pizzas, sandwiches, salads, and more. And the home of award-winning wings that are fresh, never frozen, and so big you won't believe it. It's your family's other dinner table. Roosters, a fun, casual joint, and the official wing sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Your Ohio State flagship station, The Fan. You're listening to the Jake Diebler Show, presented by Roosters on the Ohio State Sports Network. Presented by the Ohio State Wexner Medical Center, the team physicians for Ohio State Athletics.
Buckeyes are known for paying it forward. That's why Buckeyes Care strives to serve the betterment of our community by positively impacting families across Ohio. Joint partners, the American Electric Power, Kroger, Donato's, the Ohio State Wexner Medical Center, the James Cancer Hospital, Huntington Bank, and WBNS TV in Columbus, and supporting this cause at ohiostatebuckeyes.com/BuckeyesCare. And welcome back to our show this week as Ohio State gets ready to play at Wisconsin tomorrow night and at home with Indiana on Friday night. Jake, you were talking about your concerns about early in the shot clock. Does some of that involve at least the hope of making that better, guys being in position without the ball early in those possessions?
Yeah, I mean, spacing certainly plays a factor. Early in the shot clock, oftentimes, there's less structure. So, we've talked a lot about being disciplined with our spacing. And, then it becomes reading, advantages. I think at times we've given up, we've been able to get teams in a rotation, and maybe we've given it up by settling, for a jump shot or something when we could have got it to the paint to get one more pass and a better look. So those, again, it's just as guys continue to grow, playing together, experience together, you read those situations better and better. We just turnovers and shot selection have been an issue for us in those first kind of 8 seconds these last 3 games.
I've asked this question before, I think a couple shows about Mobley, and not quite sure what's going on with his shooting. I know it's been up and down from beyond the arc. A lot of it goes into scouting, the fact that he is a freshman playing more minutes than he's ever played before, and the competitiveness in practice. Taking it another step further, is there anything that you kind of go and look at, say maybe not getting the right lift, maybe he's fading a little bit, not noticing that he's doing that, could be throwing it off? What goes into trying to help him to get back shooting consistently like he did early on?
Yeah, well, one of those kind of, we'll call them late night, early morning thoughts, right? As you're sitting there watching.
Is it the same thing, late night, early morning?
It blurs together. And so I went back and watched, some of the threes he made kind of first half of the season, then the threes he's missed, the last, kind of 5, 6, 7 games. And then he and I got in the gym and, we talked through some things and showed him, and I think his footwork, could be tightened up a little bit. So we talked about that. And, I'm a big believer in him, so I think it's only a matter of time.
Amen.
And it'd be great.
Sooner than later.
Tomorrow would be a great day to start. But there were a couple, technical things that he's got to do a better job of. And also I think shot selection too. He's not just a shooter, so he doesn't have to settle. If he was just a shooter, I think I'd maybe feel a little differently. But he's not. He can get in the paint. He can play make for himself and others. And so he's shot selections played a part of it too, a little bit.
I shared this with Paul and Skip before. I remember my senior year, I was struggling shooting free throws for whatever reason. And I got a friend of the program said, "Hey, I'm watching your tape, Ron. You got your elbow out just a little bit more than you normally." And so I tweaked it a little bit, and I made 19 in a row, 20 or something like that, just by making a little adjustment. And I bring that up because there are things with the footwork makes a difference, and sometimes you don't notice. Just like a baseball player going through a slump or whatever, maybe it's a little adjustment or working can kind of get you out of it.
Yeah, and sometimes you just, I don't think our guys are listening right now. I'm sure they're in class or in the training room getting ready for practice. But sometimes, too, you just need to give them something to kind of trick their mind a little bit and give them something to believe in just a little bit, because a lot of it's mental, as well. So when you're coaching in those moments, you're coaching, the footwork, you're coaching the hand placement. You can certainly coach all of that. But I think you also got to be – you have to be, mindful of their mindset and mentality too.
That's why I think every coach should take a psychology class. I mean, you're dealing with 18, 19, 20, 21-year-olds.
So much of what we do is exactly that. It's being able to connect relationships and speak to that side as well.
What'd you think of the Cotton Bowl?
Man, my prediction came true as far as margin of victory. Came a little different than maybe what I anticipated. But, no, I thought, listen, I've been with the run our football team has been on. I think Coach Day's done an unbelievable job, and that staff and those players they look so connected and just playing for each other. It's been fun to watch. It's been fun to watch, and just the toughness and the playmaking and all of it gets you, as a fan, you love it. Looked like we had some good Buckeye fans down there in Texas, and I know Buckeye Nation will show out here for the next one so we can finish it off. But what a run it's been. It's been pretty special to watch.
I mean, you think about you want to win every game, but it seems like the Michigan loss kind of galvanized everybody, and it seemed like they haven't looked back after that.
Yeah, it's so hard to know what goes in. I'm not a football brainiac by any means, but man, the run we've been on since then has been special.
All right, we'll see you at the airport later and in Madison, Wisconsin for tomorrow night's game, Jake.
All right, guys, appreciate it. Go Bucks.
Thanks for listening to today's show, presented by Roosters and brought to you statewide by Encova Insurance, the American Dairy Association Mideast, and by Credit Union of Ohio. Join us tomorrow night, Ohio State at Wisconsin. Our pregame coverage starts at 8:15. For Colin Derringer, Skip Mossick, Ron Stokes, and Coach Jake Diebler, this is Paul Keels. Thanks for listening. This is the Ohio State Sports Network, presented by the Ohio State Wexner Medical Center, the team physicians for Ohio State Athletics.
Feeling the aches and pains of everyday life slowing you down? Introducing Blue Emu, America's #1 emu oil formula for pain relief. In a recent clinical trial, 91% of users saw improvement after using Blue Emu. Whether you're working hard, playing harder, or just staying active, Blue Emu penetrates deep to relieve joint and muscle pain fast. And best of all, you won't stink. Join the 91% who felt the difference. Find Blue Emu at your local retailer or online. Blue Emu works fast and you won't stink.
Common Man here. I've told you about my friends at Sell for 1% Realtors. I am back to remind you that if you're thinking about selling your home, it should not cost you 6% to do it. Their premise is almost too good to be true. They sell your home for 1% commission, not 6. That's it. I had to check it out for myself, see if it was legit. I met with the family-run business here in Central Ohio. They will give you everything you expect from any realtor for a whole lot less. This is full service, not discount. They literally do everything that a realtor who charges you 6% is going to do, and probably more. They can do it because they use today's technology, which has made the realtor's job easier, taking photos, signing documents on your phone. And instead of keeping their prices the same like everybody else does, they pass the savings on to you because they know you're going to be happy with the service. Tell a friend, they get more business. Oh, what a novel concept. If I knew about these guys 10 years ago, I would have saved a boatload of money. On average, customers save about $10,000 in commissions. If you're selling, give my guys a call. 614-451-6616. Sellfor1%.com.
Did you know your skin is the largest organ of your body? Huh? That's why you should shower with Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash instead of plain old bar soap. Love your skin by super hydrating it with vitamin B3 and glorious notes of vanilla and shea. Did you know that my super hydrated skin is the second largest organ of my body? The first is my heart. Old Spice. Men have skin too. Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash. 24/7 renewing moisture. With daily use.
Progressive presents Renters MVP's Most Valuable Possessions. Today's MVP, Emily Neal's 70-inch TV. Because after watching her second-grade students yell at each other for hours, there's nothing Emily enjoys more than watching super rich housewives also yell at each other. Why? Because those women are not her responsibility. And that's why her TV is today's MVP. Keep your most valuable possessions protected by bundling your renters and auto insurance with Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers not available in all states.
Morning, Paula.
Morning, Ron.
Another day in Adminville, am I right?
What are you working on? Oh!
You okay?
Your tabs. You have so many open.
Yeah, gotta order lunch for the big client meeting. With great responsibility comes tabs.
I can help. Close all those tabs and open just one, easycater.com. Online ordering from local restaurants, plus tools to save time, stay on budget, track expenses.
One tab to rule them all.
EasyCater, the smarter way to order food for work. Order now at easycater.com.
Why pay more for prescriptions? Stop overpaying and start saving with SingleCare. It's easy. Find your prescription on singlecare.com, show the coupon at the pharmacy, and start saving. SingleCare works at pharmacies nationwide and is completely free to use, whether you have insurance or not. So the next time you fill a prescription, check SingleCare to make sure you're getting the best price. Take control of your prescription costs. Go to singlecare.com or